Well, we're joined today by Annie Ilonzeh and Sam, the SWAT pup. Thank you so
Yes.
much for chatting with us today.
Thanks for having me. I'm very excited to do it, be here.
We're excited because Gamble's new to the team. What kind of backstory were you given on her?
Gamble is a decorated cop officer and from originally LAPD and through a series of I'd say some bad luck with her family and potentially ruining her reputation. Hondo's character, this was 10 years ago. Hondo's who's played by Shamar Moore, the one and only. Uh Hondo suggests to transfer her to Oakland PD. So she worked in Oakland PD for 10 years and then once 20 squad, once SWAT here in LA uh, figured out that they needed another person on the team, Hicks gave Hondo carte blanche, and Hondo immediately thought, "Let's bring Gamble back to the team." So um, she's got this real interesting dynamic where, on one hand, she's this decorated officer who is very much by the book, loves what she does, but her family is she comes from a family of criminals. So she still loves her family, and but they've let her down, in particular her dad.
Yeah.
And through about a little before mid-season, we'll see her brother, we'll see her dad, and so it starts to unravel her family history, which is really really cool, and it's so fun to play.
Was there something then about this series or your co-stars or even Gamble herself that drew you to this meaty role?
Ah, so many things. I am such a fan of the show. um, the actors on the show, the producers behind the show. So that already was super appealing to be able to work on a show where you get to kind of play cops and robbers, right? Like, I mean, as an actor, right? That's it's a dream to be able to say that you get to do that. And everything's so practical. When you watch the show, it's so real. It looks so good. And to be able to challenge yourself like that, like I immediately when I got the opportunity to audition for it, I called my people and I was like my team and said, "This is real. Like I know I'm gonna go far. So what do I need to do?" And I just knew. But and then my mom's a fan of the show way before I was even attached. So that was really cool just to know that there was already a built-in audience with me and my family. And so to be able to say like, hey, you can see me on a show that you actually like um every week was just so appealing. I mean, I can't say enough about it. We have this really so Odie is our SWAT consultant and he makes us look so badass and so real. And he's been on the show since, pilot, since the first season. And to be able to work with him closely on form and performance and just skill and all of the stuff to really bring Gamble and the reality, the practicality to life. It's such a dream.
There's so many incredible co-stars to this. Were you looking forward to sharing a scene with someone in particular? Clearly, Shamar Moore you have is like the checklist you start with, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I grew up watching him. Shamar's an OG in the game and was someone who, other than the fact that we're different genders, like he was an image that I was like, that looks like me, and something that was relatable. I saw somebody, a brother on TV that was doing his thing and was so charming and almost untouchable, larger than life, and that was so inspiring. And then to now for it to come full circle and to see to be standing next to him like hip to hip, sometimes clearing rooms or even doing human type scenes, not just the practical incident type scenes that we do, but real heart to hearts. I just look, I'm like, this is Shamar
That's your
Moore,
life. This is your life now.
it's my life. And then to just put the cherry on top, to work with Anna and Nico and Jay and David and Patrick. Patrick's my he's my trailer mate, so he's my neighbor. But to work with these, I mean, he's a legend in the game too. And Jay and David, and then Anna and Nico, they're kind of considered the newbies along with myself, but we call ourselves new kids on the SWAT. So, to work with the OGs and the newbies and to be accepted like I'm family, and I accept them like family too. It's crazy. We just gel, but you can't ask for a perfect situation, like a more perfect situation. We're legit family.
There's an incredible physicality that goes to this role as well. Did you have to switch things up to get into SWAT shape or even be able to accomplish some of the incredible action sequences
Oh,
you guys have to go through?
girl, I did. I'm already a very, active physical person, and the first week of just being in the gear, and the gear's all practical. It's real, and from the vest and all the stuff on top to the HK and the rifles and all the handguns that we have. So um my body and shoulders were so sore, and I've even seen development in muscles that I haven't had since I played basketball back in college. So yeah, there you really do have to mentally get into shape too, because you have to sign on and know that you're going to be really doing this kind of somewhat practical scenario for 10 hours that day, 12 hours that day, and then physically, yeah, you've got to be in shape. I remember being like, we are going to run from way over there to way over here again. Like, this is the 20th time,
In the
you know?
gear.
It's here in full SWAT, and when we first started, it was summertime, so, and in Santa Clarita,
Oh my
so,
gosh.
and the majority of a lot of our stuff, a lot of it's on location too, and all over LA, but it at any given time was 105 degrees, so you're just basically wearing a full-on sauna suit and just going hard. I mean, and then our SWAT consultant, who I referred to earlier, Odie, he was like, now imagine really doing this where you're just holding your rifle for 10 hours, 8 hours, just waiting, just stalking and waiting. I have so much respect for officers, SWAT officers, first responders. It's really opened my eyes to the world that they live in and the passion and the sacrifice that they have to make every day.
Well, Jay recently directed an episode. What was it like having him behind the camera and sharing scenes with you?
Yeah, Jay Harrington directed the 150th episode too. So that was just a really huge, it was a monumental moment to see that, to see Jay the actor turn into the director. Jay knows the show back and forth, and anything and everything that he would direct and adjust us with was just so spot on and so perfect and so nuanced and very specific, and just heightened the stakes just a little bit more. He's an actor's director, so yeah, he's getting the shot and he wants it to look good too. But I mean, more importantly, he really wants the acting and the relationships to come across on screen. And I remember asking him, how are you feeling about it? And he was like, I'm really excited to get in and work you guys in a different way, see a different approach to hitting these scenes. Um, and that's a really fun, fresh take because yeah, he's approaching it from being an actor and putting his own little juice on it. It was really inspiring, too. It was one of those things like how I've looked at Shamar and I'm like, wow, he looks like me. I was looking at Jay like, I want to do that. That's
Yeah.
so cool. I like motivation, man. And you know, I, he's so humble. Sometimes I don't think he even understands the weight and how much of a role model he is to all of us, in particular myself. But yeah, it was really, really great to watch him in such a leadership role. I mean, already he's a leader, but to continue that as director was so cool.
You mentioned there's an episode coming up where we get to explore a little bit more about Gamble's past and see some of her families. Is that one of your favorite episodes you've worked on this season, or do you have a particular favorite, maybe?
There are so many good episodes. So many good episodes. The one we have coming up actually, 803 or 804, excuse me, um, written by Ryan Keller is really great this Friday. We begin to peel the layers more and more and get to know Gamble. And there's some really good Gamble and Hondo moments, which again, those mean a lot to me,
So
to
surreal for you.
totally so surreal. And I just, you know, really the deeper part of it is to see Hondo makes a reference and somewhat of a spoiler, but not really. He's like, not only are you a female in this field, but a female of color, a woman of color, and that's a really big deal. This was already a male dominated field, and women of color too are kind of not as represented, and so to see both of us together, just a brother and a sister, representing it really meant a lot to me. But yeah, what is really fun for me is obviously doing the SWAT and full tack and really going out and catching the bad guys and saving lives, you know. Um, but I really do like the heart to heart moments and all of Gamble's storyline, just peeling back the layers, discovering why she is the way she is, why she's an overworker and um why disappointment is such a big deal for her, to why 20 Squad means so much. It represents family and loyalty, which she hasn't experienced always with her own family. So peeling back any storyline with her is the most fun. And that's almost in every episode that I've been in. So I kind of can't pick one.
Well, I'm sure behind the scenes is much lighter than the work you're doing on screen, and you guys have an easy way to decompress that way after those tactical scenes, those heavier emotional moments as well. How do you shake off a long day of filming?
Uh, we show each other a lot of love. This cast and crew are everyone's got such a great just sense of humor, a lot of love and support and openness in their hearts too. That I mean, we're the lucky ones that we get to play this make believe, and we very much have a grip on the fact that like this is not our day to day life. I mean, even the little things where the system here is dialed in so much that we're home by, not home, but wrapped by 5 or 6. Where, I mean, on any other show, a show like this that's this big and this huge, you'd still be shooting at 9 p.m., 10 p.m. But so the fact that we're able to get home in a decent hour and get fill up your cup maybe back at your house with your dogs or your loved ones, or just even sitting in front of the TV and being able to decompress when it's still light outside is such a huge advantage, and I think really helps to recharge. But everybody's got such a great sense of humor starting from the top. Shamar is super silly and just positive. Everyone else is so positive too. David J and Nico is a riot. He keeps us laughing all the time. Anna and I, we've got the sisterhood too. So, you know, um, hair and makeup department, we see them first, and they're always so beautiful and lovely. And you really you're kind of as strong as your team, and the team here from every department is super fun. So we always have a grip on the levity.
I know you mentioned how much it means to you and even your personal family to have you on SWAT. What kind of fan response have you been receiving to joining the cast?
From what I've read, I don't go too hard on the reading, I will say, but from what I have, and maybe this is just me filtering it my own self, um, people are like, Gamble's great, and I really like this new 20 squad. I was actually just talking to who I also referenced before, the Ryan Kelleher, the writer for 80804 and also producer on the show. He's on set today, and he was like, it's turning, because it's fans get attached to their characters and the storylines, and yeah, they want to see their staples. And SWAT's been on for so long that you get attached to what this original thing was. And we're in this stage of almost like a reboot, something completely different. And it's not just kind of a new season. We're looking at it like a reboot. This is full on kind of new show, new 20 squad for sure. And I've seen positive response. And even Ryan was like, people are starting to turn. They're letting go of the idea of the other characters, and no shade, but they're hopping onto what we have now and what we're going to continue. And we hope to go season 9, season 10. So get on board because it's not going anywhere.
Have you been busy working on any other projects before you jumped on here and started? You've been a part of so many wonderful things in your career. What's next for you, or have you not had much time with SWAT?
Geez. Well, shoot, I was working with and still do, but working with a great director named Chris Stokes, and we were doing a bunch of his films for Footage Films. Which a lot of them have gone on Tubi. So it was really fun. It's so fun to work with him. He's like my guy, he's family, and him and I collaborate really well together. So I was working with him leading up to SWAT. And I'm sure we will find our way again. This is now taking up so much of my time. And thankfully, the business is very different than even a couple years ago, let alone so thankfully SWAT has taken up my time. We've got a full season of 22, so I'm super dialed in and focused on this finding my routine too. I mean, even with my dogs or just life, when you go home, like still trying to have a little bit of bandwidth to get some of my projects off the ground too. I write and have a pilot that's very near and dear to me called Other that I hope to be pitching very soon. And even directing, seeing, Jay and just knowing that it's all possible. There's so many things in the works, but right now, SWAT definitely has got me locked in, which I'm not complaining about that either.
What would you like to say then to everyone who are fans and supporters of the wonderful work you've done throughout the years and continue to do with SWAT too?
Well, first I want to say thank you guys for watching us and supporting us. There's so much more to come. This roller coaster ride is only getting started. Um, and I touched on it a little bit, but I do want to shout out again the officers and just first responders in general that do this line of work for a living. Mad props to you guys, and I see you and I respect you so much, and thank you so much for your service. And along with that, I hope that they feel like we're doing you guys a service by representing you in the way that we do on TV and in our make believe world. But buckle up because this ride gets crazier, and 803 proved that. 803, so many people, this last episode that aired were saying how intense it was, and we are we're jumping it. We're gonna just scoot it into another gear. We're gonna shift and go full throttle. So buckle up. I'm so excited for people to see what we've created and what we're working our asses off, if I can say. But having a good time doing it. But with these blood, sweat, and tears, 'cause I'm telling you, we've all got bruises, cuts, we're sore, lack of sleep, but I wouldn't trade it. None of us would. So we hope that y'all love it.